The value 5 is assigned to variable x. The data type is a number. The value can be one of any of the data type recognized by MAXScript. In MAXScript, there are a handful of common primitive data types we will deal with frequently. Primitive data type usually means the simplest kind of data that we assign to our variables. More complex data types may be built out of simple primitive data types. So let's talk about most commonly used data types. Number data type. There are two kinds of number data types, integer and float. An integer is a positive or negative number with no decimal place. So here x is an integer. 0, 1, -10, 356, they are all integer numbers. A float is a positive or negative number that contain a decimal. So 5.0 is a float number. 3.6 is a float number. 20.6 is a float number. So whenever a number has a decimal point, it considered as a float number. Here, even though 20.0 is integer number in real life, since it has a decimal point, Max treats it as a float number. You can perform mathematical operation on number data types. So I will choose another number here, int x equal to 4, int y equal to 7. So I can have a variable called sum and int x multiply by int y. So the result is 28. If you perform a mathematical operation with variable that all holds integer, the result is always integer. If at least one of the value is a float, the result will be float. So if I multiply int x to x, the result will be float. So you can see it is a float number. The next one is a string data type. The string data type holds text. For example, you could put the text file not found in the variable message, and you should put it inside the quote marks at the beginning and at the end. So the text value must always be placed inside quotation marks to distinguish them from other data types. So here file not found is a text. X. So here x is a string because it is inside the quotation marks. And if I have a y5, this one is a string. This one is an integer number. In this case, you could perform mathematical operation on y, but not on the x. So if I have z and if I want to check it, x plus y, it gives me error because it cannot convert the 5 to the string. Another data type is a Boolean. A Boolean can be assigned as a true or false, on or off. Booleans are used mostly for testing conditions in the script with the conditional statement. We will learn about this in other lessons. So if I want to give you the example, it is a true. And we have two more that we will use much in the MAXScript. One is a color values and one is a point 3 that I will talk about them in another chapter. And finally, very important to remember that in MAXScript, a variable does not know what it is holding. It means that there is no functional relationship between a variable name and what it is holding. It is because MAXScript is an untyped scripting language. When assigning a value to a variable, you never have to specifically declare which data type a variable is allowing. So you could have my float, the name of the variable, and you can assign it an integer number. This is different from other programming languages like C or C++ or Java, where each variable is declared along with its data type. By making assignment, 3D Max automatically allow you to manipulate the variable according to the rules associated with the data type. For example, here I can write the message file not found, and this is a string. If I want to show it as a message box, you don't need to care about what is message box now, and hit enter. A message box appears and it shows me the message I already wrote for the message variable. So here it is a string, but I can next line I can apply a float number to it. So now the message is a float number. It is no longer a string. So I can use a mathematical operation on. When assigned a string, 3D Max let you manipulate message as a string. Later, when the message is assigned a number, you can manipulate message as a number.